2.4 notes, factoring trinomials is what we're going to focus on. These notes, trinomials, three-termed polynomials. How do we do that? So first step, factoring is always check to see if you have a GCF first. That's your first step. You always want to factor out that GCF first. Second, after we've taken care of that, if there is no GCF or if the GCF is 1, then you leave it the way it is, and then we go to I grouping. Here's the chart that you have from last notes. You don't need to recopy this again. It's just our factoring roadmap here. So first step, like we said, GCF. If there is one, you need to factor it out. Next step is to determine how many terms there are. So in 2.3, we were working on 4-term polynomials. We needed to factor those by grouping. Today we're focusing on 3-term trinomials, and we're going to focus on I grouping. Okay, copy this example down, and let's work it out. We're going to factor the trinomial x squared plus 14x plus 24. Is there a GCF? Hopefully you said no. You would be correct. There's 3 terms, so we're going to use I grouping. So we call it I grouping because our little I chart over here just looks like an I. To get the top of our I chart here, we want to multiply the A and the C term. So we have our A term, which is the coefficient of x squared, our B term, the middle term, coefficient of x, and our C term, the number on the end. So if we multiply A times C, that's going to be 1 times 24, which is 24. And then our B term is going to go on the bottom, which is 14. So we are looking for factors that multiply to make 24 and add to make 14. That's the combination you want to come up with. When doing that, you would realize that, okay, 12 times 2 is 24, 12 plus 2 is 14. Rewrite the problem with those two factors in the middle. So we're going to take our trinomial, and instead of 14x, we're going to write 12x plus 2x instead. And now that we've done that, we are now in a situation where we can group, just like we were doing in 2.3, because now we have 4 terms. So just like we did, we're going to factor out the GCF from each group. You'll notice that the GCF of the first group is x, which leaves us with x plus 12. And the GCF of the second group is, hopefully you're thinking 2, you'd be right, and we would be left with x plus 12 as well. Now we have 2 terms here. Each of them share a factor of x plus 12, which can be factored out, and the remaining factor is x plus 2. And there we have factored that trinomial. Skip a line, write this second example. Is there a GCF? There is not. We're going to use I grouping. Remember, A times C goes on the top, so 6 times negative 6 is negative 36. And our B term of negative 5 is going to go on the bottom. Now, we need to think of 2 numbers that multiply to give us negative 36 and add to give us negative 5. Pause the video, think of these to yourself. Hopefully you thought of 4 and negative 9. That would be correct. Notice how if this is negative, right, that means these have to be different signs. So we're going to, again, rewrite the problem with those 2 factors in the middle. So instead of negative 5y, we're going to say negative 9y and 4y. The order of these does not matter, of the middle terms. Okay, let's group and factor. What's the GCF of the first group? I'm hoping that you're thinking of 3y. You would be correct. What's remaining is 2y minus 3. The GCF of the second group is going to be plus 2, which leaves us with 2y minus 3. So now we're going to write our 2 factors. The first factor of the 2 terms is 2y minus 3. What's remaining is 3y plus 2. And that is our final factored trinomial. Next example, 6x cubed plus 15x squared minus 9x. Is there a GCF? Hopefully you realize that yes, there is a GCF. This time our GCF is going to be 3x. So if we factor out 3x, 6x cubed divided by 3x is 2x squared. 15x squared divided by 3x is 5x, and negative 9x divided by 3x is negative 3. So this is the remaining trinomial with 3x factored out. We must continue to factor the remaining trinomial using our I grouping. A times c is our top value, so 2 times negative 3 is going to give us negative 6. Our p value goes on the bottom of 5, and now let's think of two factors that multiply to make negative 6, and they also add to make 5. Hopefully you thought of 6 and negative 1, you would be correct. So we're going to rewrite the problem with those two factors in the middle. Remember, 3x is going to be in our final answer, because that's a factor that we've already factored out. So right now we're only focusing on the trinomial of 2x squared plus 5x minus 3. So now we have 2x squared plus 6x minus 1x minus 3. And now we're going to have to group these terms. Notice how 3x is just going to stay till our final answer. So let's group. The GCF of 2x squared and 6x is 2x. What's remaining is x plus 3. In the second group, our GCF is going to be negative 1. Whenever that first term is negative, we need to factor it out. So we factor out that negative 1, and now we have x plus 3. So our remaining factors are 3x times x plus 3 times the remaining 2x minus 1. So we end up with actually 3 different factors there. Go ahead and try these on your own. I already accidentally showed you that first answer, but that's okay. Go ahead and work it out. Show the work there. Try to get it on your own. All 3 of these, do them on your own, and go ahead and hit pause in the video. I want you guys to complete these on your own, okay? But I will show the video here at the 7:15 mark. So right now I'm just kind of giving you time to pause and rewind, and at the 7:15 mark I'm going to post all of the answers. So pause. Okay, there's your 3 answers that you guys should be getting. So hopefully you guys work those out and you're able to get those on your own, right? And now you're just checking answers. All right, that is all. Today is a pretty short note. So again, as always, skip a line, write a summary, just summarizing the ideas and the skills that we have talked about in this lesson regarding factoring trinomials.